All right. Good evening. Good evening, Facebook. Welcome back to the Legendary Woman series, the Legendary Woman series. And we're talking today about why it is important to have a financial game plan in place going into 2023. And so I hope that you all have had an amazing day thus far. Truly, it has truly been a blessing to be alive. Okay, we understand there are a lot of things going on in these streets, a lot of things going on in the world today. But thanks be to God that He allowed us another opportunity and chance to be here so we can get some stuff right, so that we can do the things that we need to do for our families, so that we can do the things we need to do for ourselves. And most important, so that we can fulfill the purpose that God placed in us before we were even here, right? And so I am your legacy coach. I am your financial coach. I am your family financial coach. And today I'm going to be talking about getting that game plan in place. And so if you are watching me right now, go ahead and say something to me because I can't see who is on the live. But I'm truly excited about this information that we have been covering for the past few days. I did not go live yesterday, but I'm going to hit you guys with a double whammy today. So we're going to hit point 5 and point 6 on why you need a financial game plan for 2022 and beyond. Okay. And so number one reason was because you work hard. I won't even recap it because you got to go back and watch the live, watch the replay. The second thing is because your family needs stuff. How many people have people in their families that need stuff, including yourself, right? And so your family needs stuff. Number three, because the longer you stay in debt, right, the longer you're in bondage. You're in debt, but you don't want to be. So you want to get out as quickly as possible. Number four, because you want to bless others. You have a big heart. You have compassion for people. God placed it in you that you wanted to give to others, give to those who are in need. But in order to do that, you got to have money, right? And the Bible says that He does give seed to the sower. And so I believe that He will do that. All right. So you want to have money for that. But then number 5 and number 6, which is what we're going to talk about today, number 5 is because you want financial independence. And that is freedom of time and freedom of money. I'm going to be reading a few quotes that I found on financial independence, but I trust that that looks like something different for every single person. And so for me, true financial independence means that I can do ministry full time. Okay. I don't have to worry about working for money. Money is already working for me. I can go bless who I want to bless. I can go in different countries and minister the word. I can do all of that because money is not an issue at all. I don't have to work for money. Money works for me. And so when I can get in that position where I can do that ministry, where I can go visit with my family whenever I get ready to, because I don't have to work. That's true financial independence for me. When I can go and travel and I don't have to spend hours and hours on Priceline finding the cheapest flight. You know, it's just simple things like that that would mean financial independence for people. Okay. Well, I can fly my parents in whenever I want to see them, or I can go in to see them, because we don't live in the same states. And so that to me is financial independence where I can write a check, right? When there is a need in my family or my community, I can write a check and I don't have to worry about it being paid back to me because money is not an issue. So that's financial independence for me. But financial independence for you may look like something totally different, right? And so that is one thing, financial independence. And so let me read this quote from Robert Kiyosaki. It says, if you want to be financially free, you need to become a different person than you are today and let go of whatever has held you back in the past. That is how you become, that is what he says is how you become financially free. So you need to become a different person. And we're talking about breaking some old habits. We're talking about breaking some contracts, right? Some financial contracts that we had in place for years. And I'm talking about debt, right? I'm talking about those financial contracts where, we still have all this money that we have to pay out. So there is a contract. But there would be no need for a contract if it was paid in cash. If it was paid in full, that would be the last letter I need you to send me is that it's been paid in full, and then we're done. There's no more stipulations, there's no more interest, none of that. And so being financially free, financially sound. Let me read a couple more quotes that I found about really achieving a life in financial freedom. And so here is one right here. And so it says, when you understand what your self worth is not determined by your net worth, then you'll have financial freedom. That is a quote by Susie Orman. So let me read that again. When you understand that your self worth is not determined by your net worth, then you'll have financial freedom. And so, net worth is your assets minus your liabilities, is actually what equals your net worth. And so, when you understand that your money is not who you are, it's just something that you have, okay, then you'll have financial freedom. So, that was a good one. Here is another one. It says here, real wealth is about freedom. Okay. I know it's very simple. That's by James Clear. I know that seems very simple. Real wealth is about freedom. And so when I have the opportunity to get up when I want to go where I want to do what I want to, that is legal and ethical, okay, and moral, that's how I feel about it. That's my preference. Okay. I got freedom. I don't have to worry about what I got to do because it's taken care of already. All right. So that is definitely good for me to hear that. And let me read the full quote. It says, real wealth is not about money. Real wealth is not having to go to meetings, not having to spend time with jerks, not being locked into status games, not feeling like you have to say yes, not worrying about others claiming your time and energy. Real wealth is about freedom. That is the full quote by James Clear. I love that. Okay. You don't have to do anything. You just gotta exist. Okay. Money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. That is by P.T. Barnum. All right. What else they got on here? More important than how we achieve financial freedom is the why. Find your reason why you want to be free and wealthy. That's by Robert Kiyosaki. I think that's really important that we focus on why we want to get there because there's a lot of different reasons why we would want to have money. And if we look around in the world today, some people, every little piece of money they get, every little thing that they do, they post it on social media. And I don't know if it's because they have a high need for attention or if it's because they just want to show everybody what they got going on. If they're trying to encourage other people that they can do it too. It really depends on the motive. We will really never know the motive of a person, but you will know your motives, right? You will know why you want to become financially independent, and your why is so important. Oftentimes, our why is a lot deeper than us because when we think about it, I can go to work anywhere. I can work and make money any way I want to. And of course, my husband is calling me. I'm gonna have to call him back in a second. Hold on, y'all. I got to address my king right quick. And so the thing about it is this. If I want to achieve financial freedom and I focus on my why, that would help me to stay focused on freedom. But if I'm not focused on the reasons why I'm doing it and it's not deep enough that it's going to make me cry, if I can use those words, then that's not the reason. See, some of us want to show up other people that I can do it too, but it don't have anything to do with that because we can only live our own life for ourselves. You got to live yours and I got to live mine. And so what I do has no bearing on what you do for your family because our families are separate, right? And so we got to make sure that we focus on what we got to focus on so that we can get where we need to go for our people and the legacy that we are leaving. Okay. And so I love that. The goal isn't more money. The goal is living life on your terms. That is a good word right there. Hold on for 1 second, y'all. I gotta text my husband. Right? The goal is living life on your own terms. What does that look like for you? What does that look like for you? And like I said, it's always going to be different for different people. Hold on. Hey, listen, this is live TV, okay? All right, I got it. So it's going to look different for different people. Living life on your own terms. What does that mean? See, some people don't want to just lay around in bed all day and watch Lifetime movies. You might want to do that for a week, and then you're like, okay, what else is going on? Right? It can't just be self-serving. It has to have you have to be making an impact for it to be worthwhile. And that's really my individual take on it. Of course, some people are self-serving. They can care less about, what everybody else has going on. But ultimately, I think the majority of people want to do something meaningful, something that's going to make a difference, something that they can have a hand in, not so that they can get the credit, but that so that others can achieve their goals and dreams. Okay. So living life on your own terms. This is one by Stephen Covey. It says your economic security does not lie in your job. It lies in your own power to produce, to think, to learn, to create, to adapt. That's true financial independence. It's not having wealth. It's having the power to produce wealth. Ooh, glory to God. That is a good word. And as soon as we realize, for some of us, right? As soon as we realize that it's in us, we have the power, right? Greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. We have the power. We have what it takes. And that oftentimes is the door that is closed that needs to be open so we can understand, listen, I am great. I can do all things through Christ that gives me the strength. And so therefore, I have to tap into the gifts and the talents, right, that God has already given me so that I can go out and produce, because I am the one that produces. It's not my job. See, my job is temporary. I won't have my job forever in a day. But this right here is what I am going to carry. What I have right here is what I'm carrying. Nobody can take away what I'm carrying. And so it's up to me to multiply that and to make that come out in a way that it's going to be productive, that is going to be fruitful, that is going to multiply. All right. And so when we think about that and unlock that, then we can open up the door to other opportunities, and we can see ourselves working in different areas that will help us to get where we need to go. And so that doesn't always mean working for a company, but I love this quote right here. And I'm gonna post this. Your economic security does not lie in your job. It lies in your own power to produce, to think, to learn, to create, to adapt. That's true financial independence. Ooh, I love that. It's not having wealth. It's having the power to produce wealth. Stephen Covey. That is that. I'm definitely gonna post that. That is a really, really phenomenal quote. Here is another quote. It says a good financial plan is a roadmap that shows us exactly how the choices we make today will affect our future. Okay, that's Alexa von Tobel. Again, she said a good financial plan is a roadmap. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about a financial strategy. We're talking about financial strategies. And so that roadmap is going to show you exactly how the choices you make today will affect your future. Some of us are scared to death to look at the choices that we've made and how that is affecting us now, let alone in the future. But I promise you, you cannot be one to run away from the problem, because eventually the problem will be chasing you. But you want to run towards the problem so you can address the problem and move on with your life. Sometimes the situation even is not even as bad as you think. until you look at it. You say, oh, well, man, I didn't realize my credit score wasn't that low. Okay, good. So now that we realize that, and if your goal is to now purchase a house, then let's get you positioned to do that. But sometimes we think in our minds without even going through the roadmap, we we think in our minds that we are nowhere near the finish line. But if you've ever seen that video or if you've ever heard about that story about being 3 feet from gold, man, that right there says it all. I can't think of the person's name right now, but he was digging and digging and digging and digging for a while in these mines trying to get to gold. And he gave up because it wasn't producing as quickly as he thought it should. And so he sold his equipment for little of no money to somebody else who knew what to do. And that man who purchased that equipment, he dug, right? 3 feet. He was 3 feet away. He would have struck gold. All that time, all that sacrifice, he gave up the equipment. He gave up the land. And here it is. He dug 3 feet more and he tapped in. And he got all the money and all the hard work that the other man and his crew put into place. Now he got it. And so it would be a terrible thing to just give up. It will be a terrible thing to throw in a towel. So you don't really know how far away you are from actually being successful until you take a look at it, until you keep on going just a little bit further, and then you can get to the place where you need to be. Okay? Let's look at another quote. A good financial plan is a road. Okay, I already said that. This is another one. To become financially independent, you must turn part of your income into capital. That is a good word. Turn capital into enterprise. Turn enterprise into profit. Turn profit into investment, and turn investment into financial independence. Jim Rohn. That is what it is. Number 10. You must gain control over your money, or the lack of it will forever control you. That is Dave Ramsey. I know many of us are familiar with Dave Ramsey. We got to get control of our money, because our money is the one thing that does not come with an instruction manual. And if we're not careful, it'll go wherever it wants to go. And we'll be consistently trying to chase it down. And that thing will be, I can't think of the word for it right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. But it will constantly escape you if we can't get a hold on that thing. Okay, so we got to make sure that we are telling our money where to go. And how else to do that than to have a budget in place to make sure that we checking what's coming in and what's going out. When are the bills due? Are the bills being paid on time? Or are they being paid late? Late fees come away from the money in the house. All right. If I'm going to the grocery store and I'm going to the grocery store every single day versus just going grocery shopping, I'm spending more money in gas going to get groceries on a daily basis. But not only gas money, but my time as well. See, my time is my currency. We're talking about being financial independence, but even if I am at a place of financial independence, I don't want to spend my time doing stuff that is not beneficial. I don't want to spend my time doing stuff that is going to take me a long time to do because I didn't do it efficiently the first time. So we're talking about being more efficient, and why not do that with our money? Number 6, and then I'm going to be wrapping up. Number 6 is because making more money does not always solve the issue. We often think that I just need to make more money. I just got to make this a few more dollars. I just got to work another job. I just got to do this and that. But depending on how you make your money will determine of whether or not that's going to help you get where you need to go. So it's not just about making more money. It's managing the money that you do have. And if that money that you do have is being managed properly, if you find that you need more money, then go and figure out a way to make more money that's not going to cause you to have to pay more money. What do I mean by that? So a lot of times when people are thinking, okay, well, I got to make more money, let me go ahead and get another job. But you already know if you get another job, right, you're going to be paying more taxes too. And so your income bracket goes up, your tax bracket goes up. You may or may not qualify for subsidized programs in your city, your state, federal government, whatever. So it's not always a fact of working another job, but having a business could potentially mean that you got more tax deductions. But let's manage what you have first. What do you have coming in? What do you have going out? Right? Because adding more money to chaos is not going to correct the chaos. You got to have that stuff in order first to see, where do I put the money?